Hello, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday with 3W. Wellness Wednesday is sponsored by 3W Medical for Women, a nonprofit medical clinic offering free of charge or low-cost reproductive health services to women in the Seattle area, regardless of income or insurance status. 3W does not profit off of the reproductive health choices women make. The information shared in this podcast is the opinion of the speaker or speakers. Medical information is not intended as individual medical consultation, but for general education only. Always consult your own health professional for personalized advice regarding medical decisions. And if you're in the Seattle area, consider making an appointment to consult with us. I'm Helen Nguyen, CEO and co-founder of 3W Medical for Women and the host of today's podcast. Hi there, Wellness Wednesday listeners. I'm back in the studio, and we're with the lovely Miss Shannon Leach, who is our nurse practitioner. She is here Mondays on most weeks, and we're trying to get her more, so we're working on that. She's wonderful and lovely, and you should totally come and see her if you have any reproductive health questions. She's such a wonderful educator. Shannon and I are going to be on campus this week as well, doing some educational work, some presentations about 3W. So Shannon and I are in the studio today, and we are going to be talking about vitamins, right, Shannon? Vitamins. Yeah. And okay, I have to be fully transparent. My dear husband is like obsessed with all these things. And what he does is he puts all my vitamins into Lee's little, that little box that has the days on it. And I swear, I don't know what I'm taking half of it. He's just like, take this, take half of this, and take this. And I was like, okay. But probably should ask what the heck I'm taking most of the time. Because like I go to my fem doctor, she's like, okay, what are you taking? And I'm like, pretty sure one of them is a fish oil because it looks like it.
It probably tastes like it too.
Yeah, but I don't know. And then I'm like, Steve, can you send me the list of vitamins I take? And it's just this whole embarrassing situation. So Miss Beautiful Shannon is going to talk to us about vitamins, what we should be taking specifically out here in the Pacific Northwest, so we don't get sun and it's cold and it's damp and all of those things. And then maybe things we should stay away from, or I don't know. You're beautiful and you're smart, and you tell me what we should be taking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a fun topic because I don't often actually think about it a lot.
Yeah.
It is one of those things where you're like, well, what am I actually taking and why am I taking that? So what I did actually was asked most of our clinicians in our clinic for their top 3 to 5 and then 2 nutritionists as well, just to get their take and also make sure that it was in alignment with what I was recommending.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of overlap, but then it was pretty fun because almost every other person had one thing that I wasn't necessarily on my top. I think I have actually 7 or 8, but I know there's been a lot of talk around magnesium in social media. So we'll talk about that one as well. So the caveats though are 1, know what you're taking.
Yes.
Hint, Helen. But 2, why you're taking it and do you actually need it? Because for some people, the first one I'm going to talk about is vitamin D. Not everyone is vitamin D deficient.
Right.
And so do you need it? Not necessarily. Do you need to be taking a supplement for these things, or can they be coming from Whole Foods? Because in a perfect world, we would get it from Whole Foods.
Right.
But due to a lot of changes in nutrition and the contents in the soil and all that sort of thing, there are more increased deficiencies with certain things. So it's just important to not just get on the bandwagon of a social media of oh, this is going to be the be all end all of curing all your symptoms.
Right.
When if you're not actually deficient in that, but perhaps you're deficient in something else, and then you're taking the wrong thing. So those are my kind of little caveats, I would say.
So would you recommend going to see a clinician and getting some sort of blood work ahead of time to just see where your numbers are and deficiencies are, and then kind of work your way up from there?
For sure. There's some that are general ones where you're not necessarily going to be able to do that. Ones that I'll talk about today are creatine and
Mm.
collagen
Mhm.
and protein. And
Oh,
those are
okay.
important supplements, but you can't necessarily like
Test for them.
measure that.
Mhm.
Whereas like vitamin D, you can, magnesium. So vitamin D is an easy blood draw. We actually do it on all of our femme patients because
Mm.
it does have an impact on fertility and just
Mm.
overall reproductive health. But then there's other ones that you'd want to see a more specialized, like my nutritionist did a hair mineral sampling. And so you actually
Oh.
like take from your root of your hair because it
Whoa.
can, it's supposed to like, a nutritionist would be able to speak to this better, but supposed to be able to be a better determinant than like maybe a blood draw, for example. So that's where she did look at like magnesium and folate, all
Mm.
these different things. But on a basic blood draw, you can see a lot of things like,
Mhm.
B12 and folate and
Mhm.
vitamin D. But yeah, there's not, if you're symptomatic, which like you think about perimenopause, and a lot of people are dealing with some sort of symptoms,
Mhm. Mhm.
or you have gut issues in particular, a
Mm.
lot of times there are deficiencies because, if you're not eating the right nutrients or you're not getting enough or you're getting too much or that sort of thing, then there can be a disruption of
Mm.
how you're absorbing everything. So yeah, before you take a lot of things, probably a good idea to
Yeah.
check. But then again, you think about like fish oil. Again, that's not necessarily something that you're going to check levels, but you're like,
Mm.
am I getting it in my diet? Yes or no? And
Mhm.
then for most of those sorts of things, it's not going to do any harm
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
take those ones. Whereas, with magnesium, if you're like at the top end of normal already, then you probably don't need it. So,
Right, right. No,
yeah.
I've heard horror stories from friends that are like, "You know what? We live out here and I know we have a vitamin D deficiency, so I'm just gonna start taking crap ton of
Yeah.
vitamin D." And I remember a friend of mine who was like overdoing it and she
Mm,
didn't know, and then it was causing like
right.
health consequences.
Yeah.
And she then went to the doctors and he was like, "You don't need to take this level of vitamin D." Like that's why like she
Yeah.
started having migraines and like
Oh,
really weird
sure.
symptoms that she was like, "Oh, maybe a vitamin,"
It's
and kept
too
taking it.
high.
It was too
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just fascinating how
Yeah.
you can go overboard on
Sure. And you
vitamins.
think about that too with like even like calcium and
Mm,
just
mhm.
different things where there is such a thing. It's,
Yeah.
kind of like Goldilocks, not too much, not too little, just right in the
Moderation,
yeah, in the
moderation.
middle.
Yeah.
So speaking of vitamin D, especially in the Pacific Northwest, hugely important.
Yes.
And especially as we age, it's a helper for absorbing calcium. So plays a critical role in maintaining your bone density, which we worry about as we get older, impacts muscle function, it has positive impacts on the immune system and heart health, has also been shown to elevate mood, increase
Uh-huh.
cognitive performance, and visual memory. So think about in the winter, a lot of people experience seasonal affective disorder.
Yep.
It's not always associated with low vitamin D, but there is often a correlation, and it's
Mhm.
due to decreasing levels of serotonin, which is kind of that happy
Oh.
hormone. And so a lot of people then find if they're getting the vitamin D supplement,
Yeah.
because then they're normalizing their levels, that then their mood increases and their seasonal affective depression is
Mm.
improved as well. So
Mhm, mhm.
those are some of the benefits. It also may play an important role in regulating female fertility. And that's why it is one of the things we check with the FEM panel.
Yeah.
Also has been involved in the development of specific gynecological conditions that impact fertility. So is more common in people with endometriosis and PCOS as well.
Mm.
So it
Mhm.
definitely is super helpful. And I mean, in so many ways, that's not just like it only impacts your mood, but
Yeah.
I mean, a myriad of things. Also has been shown to be best taken with a healthy fat, so either omega-3s or vitamin K. And vitamin K is helpful in like blood clotting, wound healing, and also maintaining strong, healthy bones. So the one I take in particular has vitamin D with vitamin K.
Oh,
And a lot of times they'll come that way.
come together.
And it's interesting because I didn't actually necessarily know that I was taking a vitamin D supplement. And I personally take 5,000 IUs to 10,000 in the winter months because we're in the
Mhm.
Pacific Northwest.
Mhm.
And even when I was taking, I think it was 5,000 at the time, I was still like low. But
Wow.
then when I added the K in, then I was more in a normal range. And I'm still like low normal, even though I'm taking the 5 to 10,000,
Wow.
where it's important to talk to your provider about what's recommended. Cause
Right.
like general guidelines for healthy adults is going to be like 600 to 800 international units a day.
Wow.
And I'm taking 5,000 to
No, I'm not
10,000.
surprised.
So,
Yeah.
but again, there's such a thing as too little, too much. Sometimes I check people's vitamin D. They're totally fine. They're not taking any supplements. They're okay. And if you live in a place where you get a lot of sunshine, you're probably far better off than us in the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
So,
Right.
and then just also keeping brands in mind. Metagenics is one that I take. There's also liquid. So Douglas Lab that has it as well, because there's a lot of supplements out there. Not all of them are high quality. So that's really, really important as well.
Yes. Yes. My husband does this deep dive onto vitamins because he's trying to fix himself right now. And yeah, he's always just like, don't buy that brand. That brand's not good. There is a variation in quality of vitamins
for sure.
out there.
Yeah.
And for the liquid ones, I put it in my son's milk.
Uh-huh.
That's how he
then they
takes.
can't-
He can't taste it at all, about the vitamin D that we give him.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of ways to take it.
Yes.
But
yeah. All different forms.
Is it better liquid than capsule, or that does not really matter?
I don't know. I haven't studied that specifically if it's higher quality. I think if you're getting high quality supplements, it'll be okay either way.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's just a preference. Some people hate pills and some people prefer a liquid form.
Right.
Whereas others, I've done liquid fish oil, like cod liver oil, and I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
The pills, and I'll get to the benefits of it later, but sometimes even the pills, it just has that little bit of a fishy and you just have to deal with it. But the liquid for me, I was almost it makes me almost gag just thinking about it right now.
Yeah.
But some people are fine with it, and that's great. So you just got to find what works for you.
Hey, I say chase it with tequila.
Yeah. That'll do the trick.
Gets it down and then perks you back up. There you go. However you need to take your vitamins.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Don't do that. I'm just kidding. Okay, what are your other top vitamins?
Yeah, so magnesium.
Okay.
And specifically this podcast was kind of brought about because there's been a lot of talk about magnesium, and every single person that I asked, I think there was maybe 5 or 6 total, everyone that was on their top 3 essentially. And so our normal food sources no longer have the magnesium that they did 100 years ago, for example. So I was kind of studying this because I was like, why is it? They were saying there's a really high percentage of people that are deficient. So in various research studies, one found that over 70% of fertile women had magnesium deficiency. So I was like, what?
Wow,
why on earth?
That's high.
So what it was saying is that there's nutrient depletion from intensive agriculture, food processing losses, aged populations, chronic diseases, and socioeconomic disparities. Magnesium deficiency, though, has been linked with elevated risk of cardiovascular disease, metabolic disorders, bone loss, and neuropsychiatric conditions. So it's hugely important that we actually address this need. There was a funny, I think it was on Instagram, of this guy that was talking about magnesium. This woman's like, so all my problems will be solved. And no, they won't. But when I go into what it impacts, you'll see why it could be helpful for a lot of people, because there's really almost no area in the body that magnesium doesn't help. So it plays a role in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body. So it contributes to things such as turning carbs and fats into usable energy, activating protein synthesis to help build new muscle, really helps calm the nervous system. It boosts GABA, and also helps regulate cortisol, which is a stress hormone.
Yeah.
And then supports neurotransmitter balance, and therefore really can reduce stress and anxiety. So long ago, when I was experiencing a ton of anxiety, not sleeping well, insomnia, this was one of the supplements that was recommended. And for sleep, again, it goes back to the enhancing the GABA. And so they find that people might fall asleep faster, sleep longer, but also get better deep sleep and REM sleep. And so I actually am running a little mini experiment on myself, because I had been taking it. I kind of the refill didn't get sent to me, and then I forgot about it. And then I was rereading and remembering the deep sleep and REM sleep. And I have one of the Aura rings that tracks it. And so I just started it 3 nights ago. But last night my deep sleep was really, really good. My sleep score was 89 or something.
Wow.
I was like, well, maybe it is that way. But I do remember when I did start taking it that my insomnia improved a lot. And I think it is just because of that better sleep, but then also reducing that stress and anxiety. Not only that, I mean, there's so many, it's unbelievable role. And I think because it plays a role in like 300 reactions in the body, but can help prevent migraines, may boost exercise performance. And that's a result of muscle function and recovery, preventing cramps, spasms, and soreness. Also can help reduce PMS symptoms. Yeah. So it can relax smooth muscle, which reduces inflammation, can kind of ease cramps, bloating, mood swings, etc.
Yeah.
Can help fight depression. Benefits against type 2 diabetes and just decreasing insulin resistance, and then does support bone health as well. So it's essential for calcium absorption, vitamin D. So adequate levels just help reduce the risk of osteoporosis, which is really super important during perimenopause and menopause. So also for hormonal balance and menopause support. So menopause in particular can help regulate blood pressure, reduce hot flashes, support energy metabolism, and then overall just well-being.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's one of the ones too. The other thing I looked at is Dr. Mary Claire Haver. Do you follow her at all? She's like one of the biggest people I think that people follow for like perimenopause, menopause stuff. And she had a list of like her stuff too, and magnesium was on there as well. Yeah. So
yeah, I was like, right before we started our podcast, I was mentioning to you that I've been getting ads of like how to get your kids to sleep better. And it's like magnesium in lotion, and you rub it at the bottom of your kid's feet or something like that. And it helps.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't heard that, but it makes sense when you think about the GABA and how it's supposed to help with sleep and just deeper sleep. And, it's not anything harmful by any means. But again, I think it's just always talking to your healthcare professional and your child's healthcare professional if you're going to be doing that. But there's, a myriad of benefits. It's like, what doesn't it help?
I need to ask my husband if I'm taking magnesium.
Yeah, you should be. You should be. I that's one, especially in like perimenopause, menopause, because I'm 40 now, and so I'm like
right behind
in that world. Yeah, that's definitely one that I would recommend to almost everybody. Yeah, and then as far as brands go, like Pure Encapsulations and then Claire with a K are ones that myself and then some of the other clinicians had brought up.
Mentioned.
Yeah.
We'll have a list of this stuff for our listeners of like just certain brands that you're mentioning right now and places to get them and stuff like that. It'd probably be good for another podcast for you to kind of mention like how do we know what to look for in a brand.
Right. Yeah.
That'd be a good follow-up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adiola
note to self
might be a really good one on that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're good with Adiola and Jen actually are super good with which brands in particular. I get most of my advice from them because they're in that world a little bit more than I am. So
cool. Yeah. All right. What's your next one?
Omega-3s.
Omega-3s.
Yeah. So generally we get that through like fish, flaxseed, chia seeds, walnuts, but not everybody is getting enough, but it's a really powerful antioxidant, super helpful in vascular health. So keeping blood vessels flexible, which helps to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease and dementia because of the blood vessels in the brain. Also play a key role in brain function. So it supports neurons, really keeping like chronic inflammation low. There's been evidence to support its role in mental health and cognitive health, supporting hormones, reducing inflammation, like I mentioned, and then fetal development. So that's why when women are pregnant, I'm recommending, good DHA and EPA or other in that omega-3 realm, but always want to just, again, choose a pure brand that offers independent lab testing for purity. So Nordic Naturals is a really, really good one. I know that they have like flavored capsules even. They have the liquid also, which, to each their own. It was not for me, but I can tolerate the capsules just fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And again, if you can be eating seafood,
fish,
like at least once a week, we recently have started doing Home Chef. And I think it was after a podcast where you had mentioned like home cooked meals. And I was like, oh my gosh, we need this. But I love Home Chef, not an advertisement or anything, but it has been a game changer. Yeah. But I always try to pick at least one, like we do 4 a week and I'm like, okay, I want a chicken, but I want a fish or some type of seafood to get the omegas, but also there's other benefits from it. So
and then you can like get a side order of it too to add on to your order.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember doing that. Yeah. But we are in the Pacific Northwest. Seafood is so good out here.
So readily available.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have no excuse if you're not eating fish.
That is true. That is true.
And it's actually really hard to mess up seafood.
Yes. Yeah.
It's actually pretty forgiving.
the air fryer is
Oh,
for
yes.
fish in general.
Yes, yes,
Because we
yes.
used to bake it and I didn't always love it. And then
Yeah.
once we started air frying it, I was like, it's always perfect.
Yes.
And my husband always laughs at me though, because I'm like, are you sure it's cooked all the way through? Because I was in Mexico once and had seafood, salmon, and I got
so sick.
so sick because it was undercooked. And I remember I was like, felt too bad to like send it back, but I was like, it looks really shiny and I don't know. And I ate it anyway, which is so stupid. And so he's always like, Shannon, it's cooked fine. Okay. I trust you.
So do you not eat sushi?
I do eat sushi, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly my favorite is spicy tuna. We just actually went out. My 9-year-old, or he just turned 8, sorry. He loves sushi, which like all the other kids are like, that's disgusting. We're not going out for his birthday. I was like, it's his birthday. He gets what he wants.
Yes.
And so we went to sushi. My favorite spicy tuna.
Oh, yeah. But tuna's different. Like
it is.
It's a different, I don't know.
I don't
It's
really
like
do like sashimi.
Yeah.
Because all the rawness. I think probably because I've gotten sick on it.
Totally. I was
love
gonna
that
say
other people can do it. But it's one of those things when it happens to you, you're like, can't go back from it.
No, I totally get it.
Maybe one day I'll recover.
Yeah. I was like, we're really blessed out here to have really good seafood and really good sushi and all of that stuff. Like, I don't know, people are so worried about like parasites and stuff like that. But like, I know that the way the US like prepares their sushi grade fish or something like that, like it kills most of it anyways.
Right. So
I don't know.
high quality. Yeah.
So
as long as you're not a shady spot. Like I think you can get a sense from a restaurant usually, like if you're gonna get sick or not.
Yes, totally get it. Yeah. Okay. What's your next one?
So this one is more specifically to like perimenopause, menopause is calcium because again, not a lot of people are getting it from their food. So the general recommendation is 1,200 milligrams a day. Really super important for like bone rigidity, stability, muscle contraction. Green leafy vegetables and dairy are obviously good sources, but people just often don't get enough of them.
Yeah.
And a lot of like dairy alternatives aren't fortified with calcium. So without sufficient intake, our body pulls calcium from the bone. So then increases your risk for like osteopenia, osteoporosis as we age. But not only is it important for bones, also plays a role in like nerve function, blood clotting, and muscle contractions. So it's essential for heart health and overall mobility. I was looking up, and I think it was on the Dr. Mary Claire Havers that she recommended. It's this brand Scene, and it's made from whole food sources, this calcium. So I haven't tried it myself. At some point I probably will, but any good quality one, if you can get it in your nutrition, even better. But if you're not, then just making sure you're supplementing.
Right. Well, I think sometimes it's so much easier to eat brown food.
Yes.
You look down at your plate and it's all just brown, variations of brown. And then that's when I'm like, ugh. I probably should like maybe steam up some broccoli or something.
Yes. Some food variety of color and plate appeal for sure.
Right.
And the next one, well, I'll talk about for perimenopause, just staying in that realm. Collagen is something that I take personally. Really, you can take it at any age, but definitely from the reproductive years on, and then especially in perimenopause, because it provides structure to cartilage, tendons, muscle tissue, connective tissue, skin and bones, even has been known to decrease the appearance of wrinkles, which would be great.
Yes.
But also improve the health of your skin, hair, and nails, and then just improve joint mobility, agility, and body composition. So it's one that a lot of times I find it's in like a powder. A lot of people like to mix it into their coffee or, a smoothie or whatever it might be. I have one that I just like throw in with my creatine and collagen and then like another little thing and just shake it up with water. And then it's kind of like juicy flavored because it's like a flavored one, So,
yeah. I always think about collagen because I was like, I don't like needles.
Yeah.
And I can't do Botox.
Right. Yeah. So it's super important for the skin and can be really helpful. But again, just always going back to like, is it a quality source? And because if it's not, then you're just spending money on something and taking something that is not going to benefit you. So
exactly. Awesome. Okay. That's like your top 5. Was that 5?
I think so. Yeah. I had 7 total, which is kind of a lot.
That's okay.
But again, the last two are ones that aren't necessarily like pill form, but fiber, which I just think is really overlooked. And so just making sure, and I think Adiola had mentioned this one too, but general recommendation is really shoot for at least 25 grams a day, which a lot of people don't. It's hilarious. My husband will be like, man, I need to figure out ways to get more fiber. And I'm like, seriously? Like I get I get a lot, and because I'm like, in my whole grain toast in the morning, I have avocado toast almost every morning. And then I love oatmeal, and so it's in a lot of things, whole grains, legumes, beans, nuts, and seeds, but it's really super helpful for our gut health, helps maintain blood glucose levels. So blood sugars, to improve insulin sensitivity, also helps lower like our LDL cholesterol, which is considered the bad cholesterol. And then also aids in the elimination of excess hormones. So fiber will bind to estrogen in the digestive tract and excrete it from the body. So it helps prevent like estrogen dominance or reduce it, which can be linked to like PMS, fibroids, and certain cancers. Yeah. But then also really helpful with, like I said, the blood sugar balance, because fiber slows absorption. So prevents like really high spikes of your blood sugars and crashes. So yeah, just keeping that in mind. There are supplements. So in a perfect world, you'd get that from Whole Foods, but some people need supplementation, and you can find those. So
cool. And then what's your last one?
Creatine.
Yes.
So again, usually a little powder, and it's helpful in energy production, but also crucial for maintaining muscle, bone, and brain health. As we age as women, our levels naturally decline, and this can contribute to then muscle loss, bone density reduction, all these things of like why women get smaller and then are more
fragile
at risk for osteoporosis and osteopenia. And man, there's so many like studies that are actually kind of terrifying about if you age and you fracture a hip or something and then go into like a rehab facility, that like a high percentage like never come home, or so it's like so critical to maintain your muscle mass and your bone health as we age, and creatine definitely helps with that. It also can impact cognitive and emotional health, and then mood stability. So there's emerging research suggesting that it can offset mood changes associated with perimenopause, including anxiety and depression, and then helps with cognitive health, so like short-term memory and overall cognitive performance. So lots of benefits. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, let's go from the top again. Okay. So you got vitamin D.
Vitamin D.
Magnesium.
Magnesium. Fish oil. And then calcium. I talked about. Fiber. Creatine. Collagen.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, you've heard it from Shannon. Go out there to your vitamin store. Well, actually, why don't you come in, make an appointment?
Yes.
Talk to one of our clinicians. Let's see if we can pull some numbers if we can, and see where you're at, and then start implementing this, like adding this into your diet and to your day. Because it's, in actuality, it's pretty easy. You just kind of like what my husband did for me, because he literally had to dumb it down for me. Put it in these little pill boxes. Yeah. Or like have it ready the next day if you're doing the powder stuff, and like in a little cup, and you put your coffee in, get a little frother, and then you're on your fun. You're on your merry way to consume it. But it can be done. That's the thing.
Yeah. And I do think there are certain ones that really impact people, and they're like, oh my gosh, night and day difference. I had a friend that said she's always struggled in the winters, and she added vitamin D this past winter, and she's like, it was like night and day of how I felt. And also keeping in mind, before you go and add like every single one, like for example, if you're going to add vitamin D and magnesium, maybe do one at a time and start with the magnesium and see, like, because if you add both at the same time, you won't necessarily, which one actually made the difference for you and made an impact. And maybe both do, but maybe it's just one. And so, because if you're not feeling any different when you're taking something, why are you taking it? Why are you spending money on it? Sort of, unless you have a true deficiency and it's like vitamin D, then even if you're not feeling that different, over the long term, you probably will. But it's also just really important to be in a normal range as far as blood values go. So,
well, that just goes back to, you should do it with a professional.
Yes. Yeah.
Not try to MacGyver your own
thing. Yes. Yeah.
It's like, I get it. Some of it, it's so easy. You go to Costco or you go to like a supplement store and you just grab it and you just start doing it. But it's probably better to see the progression of when you started something to how it impacts you. And like you said, if it really does impact you or not, or if it's something that's just nice to do.
Right.
Sometimes it's like just wasting money.
Yes.
And just, TikTok hypes or whatever. But
Totally.
just come in and make an appointment with one of our clinicians and kind of help just even with accountability, right? Are you actually taking what you're supposed to be taking? And sometimes there's like math and science behind it, of like finding the right dosage for you and all of that stuff. And maybe that's not something you should be doing by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Shannon. This has been so insightful. I will get a list from my husband of what I take, and maybe you can take a look at it. I don't remember magnesium being on there, to be quite frank, but
yeah,
maybe that's something I should look into.
Yeah.
But
and then you can run your own little experiment and see if your
I'm always experimenting now, like hair, like shampoo, because as you age, your hair thins too and gets more brittle. Oh my gosh, it's like a whole thing.
Collagen.
I know. That's always what I go back to is like, I don't like needles.
Yeah.
And so I'm never going to do Botox because I do not want a needle that close to my eye or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I need to take collagen. So thank you so much, Shannon. This is such great podcast about vitamins.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right, listeners, we're going to list the brands that Shannon mentioned today for vitamins, and let us know what you're taking. If you didn't hear about a vitamin that you're taking on Shannon's list, let me know. Let us know what you're taking and how it's been helpful to you, because that would be really interesting to know. And then if you're curious about how to start your supplement, experiment on your body, come in and talk to one of our clinicians, and they'll probably know so much, just like what this podcast is. So, all right, y'all, thank you so much. Have a great day and take your vitamins. For more information about 3W, please visit our website at 3wmedical.org. That's the number 3, the letter W, medical.org. From there, you can learn more information about the services we provide, book an appointment, or make a donation if you'd like to support our mission. You can also call our office at 206-588-0311. That's 206-588-0311. If you like this episode, please share it with others and consider subscribing on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, stay healthy and be well.